If you've watched My Hero Academia, or have just generally been on the internet, you should know about Half and Half, aka Shoto Todoroki. This video is more of just an explanation as to why Shoto believes it's dishonorable to use his left side, being his famous quirk holder father Endeavor with his powerful hellfire and his mother Ri Todoroki with the ability to create ice from her hands. Shoto's birth was brought upon on the appeal of quirk marriages, where essentially individuals only have offspring to hope that they'll possess higher abilities than themselves and create stronger heroes for the future. Shoto grew up in an abusive household where his hell-bent father persisted and pushed Shoto towards his power when he was simply too young to be so insistent on improving. Endeavor took Shoto's precious time as a child and used it to his advantage to, in all regards, use him to create a higher person for him to indulge the glory in himself for. Fortunately, his much more compassionate mother, Ri, didn't believe in this type of treatment, so she stood up for Shoto and even against her husband, to where the abuse began rubbing on his mother as well, directly in front of him. The only thing I could compare this kind of trauma to is, imagine if you had the incredible ability to sing, and you were forced to do nothing but sing for your family to improve to become the best, and when you grew up, found out exactly why you were so good at your talent, that you're not passionate about, but you don't mind having. It burned down to because somebody improperly assisted you to the position, and you're now in the spotlight because of it. By using his father's ability, it's essentially selling out to the dream Endeavor has by being an awful human being. Abusing his child and wife, ungenuinely saving people for the glory of the press, and only having children so you may use them for later in life for your convenience. We've seen his struggle during the battles against Katsuki and Midoriya being more persistent on using his ability even though his father was peer pressuring him from the sidelines, but with a block during Katsuki's because even though Katsuki's intent appears to be pure in simply giving it your all so you have no regrets in the end, it'd be extremely easy for Shoto to view Bakugo's persistence and passion almost the same as his father's because of the presentation the words were brought upon. Take a look at the way both individuals convinced Shoto to use his firepower.
That's why I'll give it my all! Just like you should be! There's no way I can know what you've gone through, or why you're even here. Your life has been so much different than mine. But right now, stop screwing around! If you want to reject your father, fine. But you don't have the right to be number one if you aren't going to use your full power! I refuse to use my left side. It's yours! Your quirk, not his!
Yes, that's right. Children often do inherit quirks from their parents, or develop similar power sets. But the most important thing to remember is that a quirk is what you make of it, regardless of your history. You decide how you use it. That's what I mean when I say I am here. Only you can decide to become a hero, no one else.
I didn't realize how much I'd forgotten. You bastard! I'll tell you what'll happen if you make a fool out of me! I'll kill you! I don't want there to be any doubt that I'm the best student at the festival! That's only possible if you come at me as hard as you can! There's no point if you don't fight me with the same power you used against Deku! If you don't want to win this, why are you even here? Show everyone you're trying to destroy me!
The reaction Shoto has to Katsuki has almost the exact opposite effect of what he wanted, because of the idea that I want to be number one, so you need to give me everything you have. Comes off as awfully threatening in comparison to Endeavor's reasoning. But Midoriya's plea does not persist Shoto the same way. And not in the regards that he needs to be number one, but because he wants Shoto to believe in himself instead of feeling inclined to hide his power. Of course, this is only because of the person. We all know that Katsuki and Midoriya are pushing the same message, that just because you are his son, you aren't him. But Katsuki's reasoning is probably presented as awfully selfish towards Todoroki. And I don't want to say he didn't use his left side to prove a point to Katsuki about the feeling of being dishonored if you're just being yourself. It's entirely possible. Shoto's a smart student, but you can only be so smart until you're brushed to the brim of your mental capabilities that aren't even your fault, but are a part of you because of the people around you. Therefore, in the end, this cannot be considered a dishonor for Shoto to refuse to use his left side. There's a difference between thinking you are better than somebody and being terrified to be subject to a cookie cutter from your parents' ideal lifestyle possibilities. And it's absolutely unfair to bash Shoto for this. They both want to help him, and they're doing it in a very unsteady environment, where he's forced in a circle to PowerPoint all of his abilities in front of thousands, possibly millions. Shoto has room for improvement, but it's incorrect to think that Shoto could have forced himself so easily out of a habit he's had for, per se, 13 years max and of min 10 years in such an event. Even though he did against Midoriya, he didn't prepare himself physically for the extent of his power. And while Katsuki was ready and could take the power, he'd flawed his speech and gained what he saw as a undeserving win.